Hello and thanks for joining me on Sport Pilot James Glory on another exciting episode of Sport Vibe on GNT, where we'll bring the exciting and latest sport happenings across the world of sports. Every Tuesday is our tradition to do this, and this week won't be an exception, so I would implore you to please stay tuned because we'll be right back shortly after this break. Welcome back. Liverpool definitely are the champions of the Premier League, but they were defeated by Chelsea on home soil 3-1 after Chelsea gave them a guard of honor, signifying them as the champion in the Premier League. But that was not enough for Liverpool, as Chelsea Football Club, after honoring them, were able to inflict them with a defeat 3-1 at Trafford Bridge to make sure that they are high in their Champions League spot for next season. You remember that Chelsea Football Club currently are playing in the Conference League, and they are doing everything in their power to play in the UEFA Champions League next season, and as such they were able to defeat Liverpool 3-1 over the weekend. An interesting one for their manager, and when we saw Cole Palmer also scoring his first goal in over months in the Premier League for Chelsea Football Club. An interesting outing for them also. You remember that he was able to hit the crossbar at the latter end of that competition, but it was an interesting one for Chelsea Football Club, getting away with the maximum points as they close the gap between them and the Champions League teams that will be playing in the Champions League next season, where you talk about the Premier League teams representing the England club in the Champions League. An interesting one also over the weekend is that we saw Arsenal Football Club being defeated by Bournemouth over the weekend. Bournemouth were able to do the double against Arsenal Football Club this season. Remember that their first meeting ended 2-0 in favor of Bournemouth, and also over the weekend we saw Bournemouth being able to defeat Arsenal Football Club 2-1, and this means that for the first time in the record of Bournemouth, they have been able to accumulate 53 points in the Premier League as they are high in European football next season also. But Arsenal Football Club, after suffering that defeat to Bournemouth, could be suffering a risk of finishing behind the second position this season. Remember that they are sitting at the second position, but Manchester City, with their win against Wolverhampton Wanderers, has been able to close the gap between them. They are just 3 points out of reach ahead of Manchester City, and Manchester City could close that gap, knowing fully well that Arsenal Football Club will be playing at the Anfield Stadium in the home of the champions next week. On Sunday, we'll be seeing Arsenal Football Club traveling down to Anfield, where Liverpool will be hoping to rectify things, and this time around defeating another London team that is sitting in the second position, and this could be a costly one for Mikel Arteta's side in playing in the Champions League next season. Nothing yet is guaranteed for Arsenal Football Club if they fail to win the remaining matches in the Premier League this season, as Arsenal are hoping they will finish in the spot. Manchester City are hoping that they will be able to salvage their season, finishing in the second position, though they have a trophy to win this season already after their poor start in the Premier League. It's going to be an interesting one to see Pep Guardiola team finishing in the second position this season. You know that they had a lot of disappointing season in this competition, the Premier League, in the Champions League, and every other competition aside from the FA Cup, where they are going to be taking on Crystal Palace in the finals of the FA Cup at the Wembley Stadium. It is the 12th time that Manchester City have proceeded to the finals of the FA Cup, and I trust Pep Guardiola being ready to win it for the third time in a row. But this time around, it's not going to be like the debut that we saw between Manchester City and Manchester United in the FA Cup finals last season, when Manchester United used their routes to proceed to the Europa League a season, where they are already in the semi-finals, hoping to book their place in the finals if they will be able to see off that their dramatic win yet again against Atletico Bilbao in their next match. It's going to be an interesting one to watch out for. Looking forward to seeing the team that will be proceeding to the UEFA Champions League next season. Remember, Arsenal Football Club are yet to travel down to France, where they will be taking Paris Saint-Germain, who defeated them 1-0. This same Paris Saint-Germain has been able to defeat Manchester City, defeated Liverpool, defeated Aston Villa. This is another England team for Paris Saint-Germain. Will they be able to defeat Arsenal Football Club yet again to set up the finals between them, Barcelona or Inter Milan? This is going to be an interesting one to watch out for in the UEFA Champions League, as there will be the return leg tonight in the UEFA Champions League. We'll be seeing Barcelona taking on Inter, and we'll be seeing Arsenal Football Club traveling down to Paris Saint-Germain to face them, to hopefully to proceed to the finals of the UEFA Champions League. But permit me to go on a very short break, and when we right back, we continue from where we stop.
JK Royal Signatures, a blend of African fabric.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying tuned. Still in the world of football, we have an interesting story that we cannot shy away from talking about. A proven goal scorer in the person of Harry Kane being able to win his first major tournament with Bayern Munich, being able to win the Bundesliga for the first time and his first trophy in all competition. You know that Harry Kane is good with scoring goals, but the one thing was missing in his career, and that was trophy. He has been able to end because after winning the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich, is the 34th Bundesliga for Bayern Munich after last season defeat to Bayern Leverkusen. Over the weekend, we saw Bayern Leverkusen playing a draw in their weekend match, and this means that the champions have been crowned in the Bundesliga, and this time around it falls back to Bayern Munich being able to win it for the 34th time in the history of the club, and also the first tournament for Vincent Kompany as the manager of Bayern Munich. Is an interesting one for Vincent Kompany and more exciting one for Harry Kane, who couldn't hold back his joy over the weekend as he continues to tweet on his first major tournament being won in the Bundesliga. An interesting one, and very congratulations to Harry Kane being able to do that, and I hope this will be the first of many for Harry Kane as he continues in the Bundesliga. And another interesting one over the weekend is that we saw Real Madrid winning in the La Liga to keep pressure on Barcelona in the La Liga. The Spanish La Liga is quite open for Real Madrid to close the gap between them and Barcelona. Remember, it's just 4 points between Barcelona and Real Madrid, and with these two set to face each other in the El Clasico. Remember that Barcelona has been able to defeat Real Madrid 3 times already in this season, and will Real Madrid be able to defeat Barcelona this time around, as they are hoping to win at least a trophy this season? I'm talking about the Spanish La Liga. They would need to win Barcelona and hope that Barcelona will lose in the Spanish La Liga this season. You know that the Spanish La Liga is not like the Premier League where you can win the trophy on goal difference. In the Spanish La Liga, the tournaments can be won based on head-to-head, and as things stands right now, Barcelona has more chances of winning the title than Real Madrid. But all fingers crossed, let's see the magic that will be run in the El Clasico over the upcoming weekend that we'll be facing in the world of football. It's going to be an interesting weekend already, as we also travel down to Italy as the title race in the Italian Serie A gets heated up. Napoli are not sleeping up, as with 2 matches left in the Italian Serie A. Napoli are 3 points ahead of Inter Milan, who will be facing Barcelona in the UEFA Champions League, hoping to proceed to the finals of the UEFA Champions League after a 3-0 draw between these two in the first leg. Will they be able to defeat Barcelona on their home soil to proceed to the finals of the UEFA Champions League, or will Barcelona hope of winning the treble this season be alive, as they are looking forward to traveling down to the San Siro Stadium and will be hoping to defeat Inter Milan to win the UEFA Champions League. You remember that their coach, when he talk about Hansi Flick, is yet to lose a final that he has participated in, and getting into the finals of the UEFA Champions League. Don't put words into my mouth. It could be Barcelona winning, whoever will be proceeding to the finals between Paris Saint-Germain and Arsenal Football Club. Those two teams desperately needs to win the UEFA Champions League, as they are yet to do that in their own career. It's going to be an interesting weekend in the world of football, but a particular exciting night this night and on Wednesday in the UEFA Champions League, as every club holds their fate in their hands to proceed to the finals of the UEFA Champions League. And in the Europa League, we might be set to see Manchester United taking on Tottenham Hotspur in the finals of the Europa League. There is still a return leg to be played between Manchester United and Atletico Bilbao, and Bordeaux and Tottenham. Let's see who will be proceeding to the finals of the Europa League. We will be having all England finals in the Europa League, and this is the length at which we'll be going on this week's episode of Sport Vibe on DNT Work. For more news and sports stories, follow us across our various social media and we are Sport Vibe on DNT Work. Enjoy your week. Remain blessed. Thank you.